Hello guys, and welcome back to our channel. I welcome you to another discussion that sheds light on a painful reality faced by many mixed race individuals. Now today in this video, I will be sharing the stories of biracial people who have experienced the harsh reality of having a palm color mother who harbors hatred towards their black heritage. It's a paradox that's both surprising and disturbing. Like, how can someone profess to love and accept their child, yet simultaneously harbor deep-seated prejudices against their child's blackness? Let's not even go that far. Like, how do you get in a relationship with a black man and even go as far as having a black child? And then at the end of the day, you start hating or showing animosity towards that black child for being black. Now, this toxic dynamic can have devastating effects on a child's self-esteem, identity, and sense of belonging. So with that said, let's take a look at these videos. As different people share their stories and experiences, I will be right back.
My mom was a list white woman. And she hated black people, which is crazy because look at me, guys. I'm black. I'm black. And when I tell you, she used to ask me all the time why I didn't have blonde hair, blue eyes, and light skin. I'm like, Mom, you're the one who ended up with the black man. Why are you asking me why I'm not light-skinned? Like, you should be asking yourself why I'm not light-skinned, okay? And throughout most embarrassing thing throughout elementary school through almost like beginning of high school, I would tell people I wasn't black because my mom was like determined and brainwashed me to believe that I wasn't black. So embarrassing. Why did people even talk to me? Like, I was adamant I was not black, and when they would ask me, I'd be like, well, I'm not black, I don't know what you mean. And they were like, what the fuck do you think I mean? So embarrassing.
Mixed race boys can become black men. Today I want to speak about the impact that I've seen this have on the relationships that they have with their white mothers. I'm in education, I've been a teacher for 10 years, and I've seen these mothers and their children kind of grow up through the system over time. So when they enter in year 7, they tend to be very loving towards their sons, very caring, very protective, very proactive. Now it's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but some of these white women have not resolved their issues around black men and their fears around black men. So where it was once their baby, their cuddly, their sweet baby boy, this boy has hit puberty. Now he's taller, he's muscular, and he is someone that society says is intimidating and threatening. So as a teacher, I watched this relationship change. I've watched relationships change between their mothers and their sons, whereby before they were super involved and now they're actually just like trying to wash their hands off of them. And it's really, really painful to watch. It's really, really harmful for the child, of course, but as an observer, it's like this woman is meant to love you and care for you through all stages of your life, and now, well, she's just opting out.
I'm gonna need y'all white parents of biracial kids to listen in real quick. I'm gonna give you fair warning, this might be an uncomfortable conversation, but it's necessary. A lot of y'all's kids have complexes and identity issues, and it's not because they have a white parent. It's because a lot of y'all chose to have biracial kids before you unpacked your internalized racism and anti-blackness. It's because a lot of y'all have biracial children without learning enough about the black experience to guide your child through a black experience. To guide them through a world that is inherently anti-black. Cutting off your family members is not all it takes to raise a biracial kid. In fact, that doesn't even come close to the bare minimum. You can have the best intentions for your children while still causing them collective harm. And I first noticed this when my daughter was an infant and I started joining Facebook groups for parents of biracial kids. These white moms would have the best intentions, yet end up on Facebook crying about how their child was saying they didn't want to be black and they hated being black. And because these parents did not take the time to educate themselves whatsoever on systemic and anti-blackness on a level that they would be able to appropriately raise a biracial child, they were on the internet crying for help instead of helping their kid. You cannot shield your child from experiencing anti-blackness in the world, but you can equip them to deal with it. I get told pretty frequently that my daughter will be mistaken for a black mom biracial. Now I'm going to explain to you why. First and foremost, she is not raised in an anti-black environment. A lot of black men, white women relationships are inherently anti-black due to the fact that the relationship is based on fetishization and the hatred of black women instead of mutual love. The way that I look at it, the world is constantly going to be hurling anti-blackness at my child. And instead of acting like it does not exist, I have been equipping my child since birth to be able to handle said anti-blackness through radical self-love and positive identity. My child has at a young age told me that she wanted to be white to match her.
I don't know what mixed baby needs to hear this, but it's okay if you drop your white mom. It is. There are so many white mothers who sit there and they have mixed babies and then they literally destroy us. My mom, ever since I was little, has been calling Black women disgusting and loud and dirty and arrogant and ghetto. And for some reason, she fails to realize that I am the same woman that she is talking about. She fails to realize that there's no difference between us. The only difference is the slightly lighter complexion. That's it. Y'all sit here as white women and you have Black and brown and Asian children, and then you literally talk about us like we can't hear you. You talk about how we're disgusting and how it's the government and how we're not even from America and how we don't even need to have protests for things because everyone's created equal in the first place, but then you date white supremacists and bring them into our own. And you expect us to be comfortable. You expect us to be comfortable with your husbands that wear Trump hats. You expect us to be happy and accepting that you want to go out for shots of tequila and make fun of every man in the room and say, I bet his name is Juan. I don't find that funny. I don't find the joke in that. To make fun of everybody except your kid because you, for some reason, have the capacity to think that they're different, to think that they are you, when they have never been a part of you in the place. I don't get it. I don't get how y'all can pretend that your kids don't hear you and then be absolutely baffled when they finally do and they finally don't want to be around you. So for the kids that have grown up in environments in the exact same that I have, I don't care if you're afraid of not having parents. I'm afraid of having a parent that can't even see who I am when I'm looking them right in the face. And the fact that I don't even have a parent that knows who I am, it's pretty much like having none anyways.
Now, parenting as an activity has become the focus for much concern at a policy and academic level, and the experiences of palm color women mothering mixed-race children is also receiving considerable attention. Globalization and migration are playing key roles in determining the social and familial landscape of contemporary Western societies. Government statistics in the UK, Canada, and the USA point to the increasing racial and cultural heterogeneity and the growth of the mixed race population. Like, it's really, I don't know what to call it because I can't say surprising because this is not surprising, but to hear about palm color mothers who harbor R-to-the-C sentiments towards their own Black children. Now, this is not just a matter of societal R-to-Cism, but a deeply personal and internalized issue. Like, how can a mother who has chosen to bring a Black child into this world possibly justify holding R-to-the-C views towards that same child? The sheer audacity of some individuals never ceases to amaze me. Like, if you knowingly harbor R-to-the-C sentiments towards Black people, then why on earth would you choose to have children with them? Just why? For me personally, I feel there's a profound lack of self-awareness here, empathy and basic human decency. Like, how can you claim to love and care for a person, yet simultaneously hold deep-seated prejudices against their very existence? And what about the children? What kind of environment do you think you're creating for them? A home filled with love, acceptance, and support, or one tainted by R-to-Cism, bias, and internalized hatred? It's unconscionable to bring innocent children into a world where they'll be forced to navigate the toxic consequences of your own prejudices. Children deserve better. Like, they deserve parents who love and accept them unconditionally without the burden of R-to-the-C baggage. If you're honest with yourself about your R-to-the-C feelings, then have the decency to refrain from bringing children into this world. It's not fair for them, and it's not fair to the Black partner who deserves better than to be tied to someone who harbors such hatred. This just does more harm than good. The devastating consequences of a parent's R-to-Cism on their mixed-race child cannot be overstated. Growing up in a household where one's identity is rejected or devalued can have a profoundly damaging impact on a child's sense of self-worth, identity, and belonging. Mixed race children in particular are often forced to navigate the complexities of multiple identities, only to have their own parent reject or minimize a fundamental aspect of who they are. Now, this can lead to feelings of confusion, shame, and self-doubt that can persist well into adulthood. Now, the message that a R to the cis parent sends to their mixed race child is very clear. You're not fully acceptable as you are, and this can result in a lifetime of internalized narcissism, self-hatred, and a deep-seated need for validation and acceptance from others. Moreover, mixed-race children may feel like they're caught between two worlds, unable to fully identify with either their Black or palm color heritage. And this can lead to feelings of isolation, disconnection, and a lack of belonging that can be difficult to overcome. The long-term effects of this kind of emotional abuse can be severe, and mixed-race children who experience narcissism from their own parents may be more likely to struggle with mental health issues, low self-esteem, and difficulties in forming healthy relationships. Yes, well, people say love knows no color, but the harsh realities of narcissism and internalized biases cannot be ignored. Palm color mothers in particular have a crucial responsibility to confront their own privilege and prejudices before entering into a relationship with a Black person. That's to start with, because it's not enough to simply love someone from a different racial background. It's important to do the hard work of self-reflection and education. Now, this means having difficult conversations with yourself about your own biases, privilege, and cultural conditioning. Ask yourself, if I have a Black child now, how am I going to treat that child? Am I going to be R to the cis towards the child? Like, they need to ask themselves their thoughts on narcissism and how it affects Black people. Like, have you examined your own role in perpetuating systemic narcissism? And how will you navigate the complexities of raising a Black child in a society that often devalues their identity? Now, I know these are not easy questions to confront, but they are necessary. Palm color mothers must be willing to challenge their own assumptions, listen to the experiences of Black people, and learn from their perspectives. Not telling your child to say they are palm color when they have a dark skin. Like, how? How am I palm color? How can someone be palm color when they have a dark skin? The struggles of mixed-race children, particularly those with a palm color mother, are a reminder of the enduring legacy of narcissism and colorism. These children are often forced to navigate a complex web of identity, caught between the desire to connect with their Black heritage and the pressure to conform to palm coloredness. Now, the painful experience of being told to deny one's true identity is an illustration of this dilemma. The lady's story, where her palm color mother instructed her to claim palm coloredness despite her dark skin, is really an example of the internalized narcissism that can perpetuate generational trauma. Now, this phenomenon is not isolated. Many mixed-race children face similar struggles, forced to choose between their Black and palm color identities. And the message is very clear. Palm coloredness is the preferred, more acceptable option. Now, this toxic ideology perpetuates the erasure of Black identity, culture, and experiences, leaving mixed-race children feeling fragmented, confused, name it. The consequences of this forced conformity are far-reaching. Mixed-race children may experience identity crisis, low self-esteem, and a deep-seated sense of disconnection from their Black heritage. The emotional toll of being forced to deny one's true identity can be debilitating, leading to mental health issues, anxiety, and depression. We have finally come to the end of the video, but I don't know what you guys think. Are you a mixed-race child? Are you a mixed biracial child? Share your thoughts, share your experiences as well in the comment section and what you've had to deal with, or maybe you have witnessed this. Share all that in the comment section and let's have a conversation about this. Thank you for always watching, and see you in our next video as we bring you another interesting video.